Accidents happen on the set of Hollywood TV shows and movies pretty often, and rarely someone would even lose their life.
But sometimes these accidents happen under very suspicious circumstances that lead many to believe they are cursed. It's Mackenzie and Bree here, and let's get into the top 10 Hollywood TV shows that might be cursed.
At number 10, Glee. Though the show Glee was a massive success for a lot of people and continues to be a fan favorite for many, there has also been a lot of negativity surrounding some of the cast members, so much so that some believe that the show is cursed. First of all, we have to address the actors from Glee who passed away. Corey Monteith, who played Finn Hudson, passed away in 2013 from a drug overdose. Mark Salling, who played Puck, took his own life in 2018, and just last year, Naya Rivera, who played Santana Lopez, passed away from an accidental drowning. Already so much tragedy, but that's not the only negativity that some of the show's stars have faced. They also faced scandal as well, most notably Lea Michele, who got in a big scandal last year when one of her former Glee co-stars exposed her for microaggressions and bullying on set. The only person who really seems to have avoided the Glee curse is the show's creator, Ryan Murphy.
And at number 9, Poltergeist. This is one I'm sure you've all heard about because it's still incredibly scary to this day. The original 1982 Poltergeist set was famously said to be haunted, and because of this it's the most famous out of all of its sequels. People believe the curse was caused by the disrespectful practices that took place on the set, as many of the scenes in the film used real props. One actor, Jo Beth Williams, remembers having to swim among real skeletons. During and after the movie, many cast and crew died in terrifying ways. During filming, 22-year-old Dominique Dunne was killed by her ex-boyfriend. Then Julian Beck was diagnosed with cancer and died of the disease while filming the sequel. Then a child actress in the film, Heather O'Rourke, died in 1988 at the age of 12 due to an undiagnosed bowel defect. And that's not all. Lou Perryman, who played Pugsley, was killed in 2009 by a home invader. The fact that 2 people were brutally killed that worked on the set is a terrifying coincidence.
At number 8, Diff'rent Strokes. Another show that many people think curses actors is the sitcom Diff'rent Strokes. This sitcom, whose popularity stemmed through the late 70s to the 80s, saw a lot of child stars find fame, but those same child actors, Gary Coleman, Dana Plato, and Todd Bridges, are the ones thought to have been cursed and faced devastation, tragedy, and hardships after the show's end. Dana faced a lot of struggles with her mental health, and in 1999 she did an interview with Howard Stern that ended very badly. She faced a number of harsh and cruel comments from callers, and many believe that this is what pushed her over the edge because the actress ended up taking her own life the following day. For Todd Bridges, he spoke out about how he had been manipulated by adults while he was still a child actor, and as you can imagine, that was very traumatic for him. As for Gary, he lost all of his hard-earned money when his parents used it all up, and he ended up working as a security guard before he passed away in 2010 from a brain injury at the age of 42.
And at number 7, The Exorcist. This is another one that's pretty self-explanatory given that the film was considered one of the scariest movies ever made when it was released. The 1973 Exorcist was plagued with scary accidents that ended up permanently injuring some of its cast members, along with killing a whopping 9 people on the cast and crew. Actors Linda Blair and Ellen Burstyn both suffered debilitating back injuries from scenes where they were thrown around a room. Since the film's release, 9 people who were involved in the film all died in terribly shocking ways. Then, worst of all, a convicted murderer was cast in the film. In one of his scenes, the actor Paul Bateson actually killed someone, and it was later discovered that he killed Addison Verrill in 1977 in real life, along with a number of other crimes.
At number 6, Leo and Me. There is a conspiracy theory surrounding the 70s Canadian sitcom Leo and Me, and many people believe that there's some kind of curse involved because of the medical issues that befell the members of the cast and crew. It turns out that many members of the cast and crew from Leo and Me ended up developing Parkinson's disease. In 1991, Michael J. Fox, who was 29 at the time, revealed his Parkinson's diagnosis, and many people thought it was strange that he had been diagnosed so young because this disease is typically associated with older people. What made this even stranger though was the fact that 4 other people who worked on Leo and Me with Michael also developed Parkinson's and started displaying symptoms around the same time. A lot of people think that this can't simply be just a coincidence and has to be some kind of curse.
Halfway, number 5, Rosemary's Baby. This 1968 movie, directed by Roman Polanski, is mostly chilling because of its real-world similarities it has with the death of his wife and unborn child. This movie starred Mia Farrow as a pregnant woman who is scared that her neighbors want to do something sinister to her and her child. At the time the movie was released, nothing felt odd about the film, and it was praised as a shocking thriller. But only a year after it was released, the horrific Manson family killings took place in the Hollywood Hills that took the life of Polanski's wife, Sharon Tate, and their unborn child, along with 4 of Sharon Tate's friends who were staying with her while Polanski was out of town.
At number 4, Our Gang. The TV show Our Gang is believed to be one of the most cursed TV shows of all time. This show was beloved by many and introduced the world to the Little Rascals. Though it became a fan favorite and continues to be for a lot of people all these years later, the child actors who starred in the show suffered terrible fates and hardships. Out of the beloved cast, the first one to have passed away was Norman Chaney, who died from myocarditis at just 21 years old. The show's fan favorite Alfalfa took a turn for the worse after leaving the show in 1940, as years later in 1959 he was shot and killed at the age of 31 by his friend because of a fight over money. His brother, who was also on the show, ended up taking his own life at the age of 42. Donald Haynes passed away fighting in World War II at the age of 23. Billy Laughlin was struck by a truck at the age of 16. Clifton Young passed away after being caught in a hotel fire at the age of 33, and Bobby Hutchins was killed in a plane crash at just 20 years old. On top of all this tragedy, many other members of the cast passed away at young ages due to medical issues. So many other stars got into legal troubles, and even the dog from the show was poisoned by someone. No one from this show ended up living a happy life afterwards, and that's just tragic.
And at number 3, Rebel Without a Cause. This 1955 movie was another one that unfortunately resulted in the death of multiple of its stars. The characters on the project did not suffer their fates while filming, but it's very coincidental that 3 of the show's biggest stars all died under tragic circumstances. The first actor to pass away was James Dean, who died at the age of just 24 before the movie was released from a car crash. Then in 1976, Sal Miano, who played Dean's best friend, was killed outside of his home. He was parking his car in his apartment complex when he was suddenly stabbed. Neighbors reported hearing the screams. At the time of his death, he was only 37 years old. Then famously Natalie Wood, who plays Dean's love interest in the film, passed in very suspicious circumstances. She drowned while she was out on a yacht with her husband Robert Wagner and fellow actor Christopher Walken. Many believe there is more to the story regarding her death, as a lot of the facts of the case just do not add up.
At number 2, The Adventures of Superman. Have you ever heard of the Superman curse? Well, if you haven't, let me tell you about it because it's affected a number of actors and it might actually be real. Essentially, the Superman curse is the superstition of sorts that says that anyone who plays a part in a Superman production will be cursed and will be affected negatively in some way. The first supposed victim of the Superman curse was an actor named George Reeves. George played Clark Kent, aka Superman, in the show The Adventures of Superman from 1951 to 1958. He had a really successful film career before starring in this TV show, having been in over 40 films, but after taking up the mantle of Superman, things went downhill for him and his career. He became so closely linked to the role of Superman that it became very difficult for him to land any other roles, and this made his career come to a standstill. Things were really bad for George, and sadly in 1959, just days before his wedding, George took his own life. After this tragedy, it marks the beginning of the so-called Superman curse, as other actors have also had something negative happen to them, like a serious injury or relationship troubles. But do you think that this curse could actually be real?
And finally, at number 1, Twilight Zone the movie. This movie is craziest of all because multiple actors passed away while on the set of the film, shooting a scene that went horribly wrong. The 1983 movie was based on the hit show of the same name. The movie itself was really not all that scary, but the events that happened on set are. While Vic Morrow and 2 child actors named Renee Shin Chen and Micah Din Lee were shooting a helicopter scene, there was a terrible accident and all 3 of them died. It was a Vietnam War battle scene and they were running away from a helicopter. But back in these days, special effects weren't what they are now, and the special effects explosions on the set caused the pilot of the helicopter to crash right into them. Even more tragic, the accident took place on the last day of filming. And just when things couldn't get any worse, the director actually kept this scene in the movie. Alrighty guys, so that is all for the video today. Let us know your thoughts below and let us know anyone that could be in a part 2. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith.
And I've been your other host, Bree Room.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye!